All right, welcome back to another episode of Friends from Work, a podcast about all things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hosted by myself, Kyle Sconowell, and my longtime friend from work, Robbie Earl. It has been quite some time since we've talked to you on these airwaves. And so wow, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope your summer was just fantastic. The best summer of your life. And Robbie, I hope you're doing well. I also haven't talked to you very much at all. How are things with knowing that a child is going to be a part of your family very soon?
Well, I feel like nothing will change. And
that was my experience. Nothing changed. Yeah, just totally the same.
Everyone's told me it doesn't alter your perspective at all, or
you
the
just
amount
wake
of free
up,
time that you have.
You wake up and nothing's different, and you just kind of go about your life.
Yeah. So
that's funny. That was funny.
It's weird because we're now officially in like the next month mindset. It is the very end of October, the due date. So we're looking at a Halloween baby if she waits that long, but it is still technically next month, which is crazy.
Yep.
So it's been good. I think Candace has finished the nesting process after whatever biological imperative drove her to do that very intensely.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got the nursery all set up, which is great.
Wow.
It looks great. Candace did a really good job there.
Did you get your roof fixed? Your inside ceiling that was falling apart. Okay, good.
We did get that fixed. The funny thing is we had that done whenever we did all of our AC stuff, and then we were up in the attic grabbing something before you got there. And I mean, it was
it's unbelievable.
It was so it actually was. It was like something out of like a vacation film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, like Candace literally just stepped through the ceiling, which again.
Could have
been way worse. Yeah. Could have been way worse for a lot of reasons. But no, we got that fixed. And I think we're kind of just in the home stretch trying to wrap up as much as we can in other areas, like getting ducks in a row.
Yep.
I am in a hotel room now because I'm helping Candace with her last event. Before she takes off for a while. And the other thing that's kind of been fun, Candace is actually, there's probably something that I can share like on the Patreon or something, but as she's been doing the nursery setup, Candace has started painting again.
Okay.
She went to art school originally, which is what she was doing when we met, and she obviously does a lot of graphic design, but she hasn't really done just
painting
her own. Yeah, just painting things not meant to be like a logo or done in Photoshop. And so she's been doing these paintings and then scanning them in as prints. And it started because she wanted to make these prints of different parts of different Texas landscapes to go in the nursery. And then she started really enjoying it. And now she's kind of created a whole little Etsy shop of these oh,
that's cool,
kind of nursery prints. They don't have to be nursery prints. There's nothing baby themed about them. But she's getting that going.
It's all pictures of storks.
Yeah. It's just storks. And just different angles of babies.
A baby in an apple basket, a baby in Thanksgiving with the gourds and the pumpkins. Yeah.
It is always those every time I see things like that, it does feel like it's some light cannibalism that's being implied there.
It's a little bit weird, no doubt. There are a lot of things that are kind of weird associated with babies and pregnancy. I'm pretty sensitive to the pregnancy photo shoots, just how those go down.
Strange.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's not my thing.
It it is a cottage industry. It's like, obviously kids in general are like, but I'm talking about even just the pregnancy.
Yeah, I got to tread lightly here. This is, we're getting on sensitive ground here.
It's true. It's just been interesting to me, like the amount of things that people tell you, you simply have to do it. You've got to do it. You have to go to like 6 different types of classes, obviously. And I'm just always thinking like, man, I and maybe this is the problem. Maybe this is the problem with me. But my parents definitely did not do any of this stuff for me.
Dude, prepare your heart, man. Prepare your heart. You got to take the family photo where you're all laying on top of each other. That's got to happen, you know?
Yeah.
It's just things that are obviously dude, we are 2 men with wives who do Instagram research on this stuff. And it's the Wild West for pregnant women out there. So just... over the next year, you're going to get a lot of information that you'll be like, I'm not sure that's how we did it when I was growing up. And you just got to accept that Instagram knows better than our parents now. Okay. They know more about it. So yeah, dude, just, okay. Anyways, we probably have listeners that I'm just thinking about a pregnant listener right now going to the photo shoot in their car and they're listening to this podcast and just gotta be real. You know, sometimes you get in those subjects, you're like, just be real careful here. We're getting close. We're getting close to,
you know, and again, there are so many things like that we've really, once we've done them, we've enjoyed them and found them valuable. But it is just funny because it's like, you know, in Farmerville, Louisiana, I don't think that we.
You weren't taking classes in the birthing suite?
Yeah, that's the.
It reminds me so much of the first season of Severance. It's my favorite. Well, it's one of my favorite parts of Severance. Remember when his in-laws, his sister and her husband are having a baby and they're doing all the stuff that we're talking about. Like, so traumatized that you didn't see the bed you were going to advance to in the same room, you know, and like hanging kelp. Remember hanging kelp in the room?
I forgot about like kelp.
You're probably now experiencing. That's a little bit what it's like, though. Kind of.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
There is a lot of like. There's an interesting crossover. If
you don't sing to the baby while it's in her stomach, then you know. Trauma caused forever.
Well, it's like
how could they ever recover from that?
There's more crossover with like the essential oils crowd than I expected.
Than you care to be.
But all that to say, we're super like I feel really lucky because everything has gone really well so far in terms of Candace's health and the baby's health. And so it's been, especially with how busy we both have been, that's been a big blessing.
That's good. Please don't send us angry emails, okay? I've just been, nothing going on with me, by the way, just continuing my rewatch. I'm probably further along than I care to be. Like, I'm probably going faster than I should, but working my way through the MCU and each time having fun initial feelings with it. So I'll share more of that in an upcoming episode, but it's getting the wheels turning for a lot of episodes and content things we could do too. With watching this stuff. So you and I are still trying to figure out what the next few months are going to look like because of the baby and your life and the craziness. And so listeners will have to bear with us a little bit as we kind of piece that together. That's all I can say at this point. We're still working through the details of that, but there'll still definitely be episodes on Friends from Work Plus. This is a great time to subscribe to Friends from Work Plus. If you're listening to this episode right now, you haven't heard from us in 5 weeks, probably. Maybe 6 weeks at the time. And yet we've been putting out weekly episodes on Friends from Work Plus that I feel like have been really, really fun. So it really helps support us if you want to check out Friends from Work Plus. And you can also check out organicpricebooks.com, which has now changed their name to Panel Bound Comics, right? Panel Bound Comics.
Yep.
But what hasn't changed is that our promo code still works. Friends from Work, all one word, and that they're still an awesome company. Same people, great people, just changing the name of it. Panel Bound Comics, formerly known as Organic Price Books, is a incredible sponsor of this podcast and how I've been getting my books for our Comic Corner episodes on Friends from Work Plus.
And just so you know, if you type in organicpricebooks.com, it will still redirect you to the website. So don't fret on that front.
And then lastly, shout out to homage.com if you want to get more Friends from Work. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
my camera setup here is not ideal, but I am wearing my Secret Wars homage shirt.
If you use the link in our show notes, the Friends from Work show notes, you will let them know that we sent you. It helps us, it helps them. But they have a lot of awesome merchandise, like Robbie's wearing, but they also have sports merchandise too. So as the baseball playoffs are picking up and the NFL season's in full swing, college football, check out some of their throwback sports merchandise, but use the link in the show notes. It helps us. Homage and Panel Bound Comics. Okay, Robbie, we got a chance to see Marvel Zombies, all 4 episodes, a little bit early. I believe all 4 are dropping at one time for the public.
I think that's right.
So if you're listening to this episode, you have just finished all 4 episodes, I hope. Otherwise, we're going to be talking with spoilers, so go watch it first. Robbie, I want to start this by saying I had a unique experience with this because, well, first of all, I watched 3 of them in one sitting and then 1 the next day.
Okay.
So here's my meter. For anyone watching on video, here's me in my fandom and my preferences on a scale, right? So I'm going to start in the middle. I am already not a massive animation fan. So my interest level goes down a little bit, okay? I am then not really a zombie guy. I'm not a horror guy in general, but I'm not a zombie guy. So it goes further down. So I kind of started down here when I watched it. Then through a few episodes, I was like, kind of getting into it. This is kind of fun. And it's fun to see all the characters, like the actors back. It introduced some mashups that I think I'll talk about in a second that will work really well in the MCU. But I'll get there in a second. And so I started getting more invested. So my meter started going up here. By the time the 3rd episode shut off for the night, that's where they end facing the Nova Corps. And it's kind of a twist. I had to go to bed, but I went to bed going like, oh man, I really would like to watch now kind of what they do with the 4th one, but I had to pause. And so I found myself the next morning, like rushing to watch the final one. So now I think at this point I'm kind of up here as far as caring, because I was finding a way to watch it. Even when my daughter was watching a different show and I pulled it up on my computer and kind of sat at a different angle and watched it at the same time. So then when the 4th episode shut off, I was like, okay, that was cool. And so I'm kind of like above average. Maybe let's say I'm like a 6 or 7 out of 10. And then it's been a couple of days since I've seen it. And now we're talking and I've had lingering thoughts about it. Like I was thinking earlier, you were saying something earlier in a different episode that we recorded. And I was thinking, my brain went to the show and then I was reminded like, oh, Annika hasn't seen it yet. And so I almost had a little bit of the feeling of when you see something big that you want to talk about, but no one else has seen it yet. I had a little bit of that when I thought I wouldn't have any of it. So I kind of left going, to me, this show was clearly not as good as the amazing, or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man or X-Men 97. But to me, clearly significantly better than What If Season 1, 2, and 3 and Eyes of Wakanda.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think like objectively, I think I would put it close to Eyes of Wakanda from like a quality standpoint, but I think that I much prefer it to Eyes of Wakanda. I think so. Zeb Wells he wrote all of these episodes,
and I wrote that in my notes. Kind of that's kind of wild, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and I guess, it is a fun thing where he was the head writer, and because it's only 4 episodes, he was able to write all of them. Brian Andrews directed all of them. Like, it felt focused in that way. One thing that I thought was so interesting.
And let's do that. Let's do what worked. Let's do old school. What works, what doesn't work. What can you take away?
Yeah. I mean,
so you start with
this is, I don't even know which category this would fall into, but just kind of to, I think I liked it, so it's not a bad thing. But like this show is so clearly the product of like 2021, 2022 era MCU. Like obviously it's just now coming out, but there are things about it where I'm like, man, they were making this, or at least formulating this. Like, it was announced during What If, or right as What If was ending. So I know that it's been in the works forever. And like the team and a lot of the characters were announced really early on. And I feel like we started seeing screenshots. So it's just funny. Like,
do you mean because the leads are like Kamala, Wanda, Shang-Chi? Okay,
like
I
you
gotcha.
see like all of the Kamar-Taj folks you see in Multiverse of Madness.
Right. I gotcha.
There's just a real, like even the like Yelena Alexei stuff is so clearly more their relationship as we saw it in Black Widow than anything that's been informed by like Thunderbolts. And this is not a bad thing. It's just an interesting kind of time capsule where it made me feel like I was back in the like late 2021, early 2022 era between like Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel.
I gotcha. And in a way, that's one of the things you could argue doesn't work. It kind of plays back to the conversation we've had so many times about the release schedule. Like, are you almost saying like, why wouldn't that have come out at the end of 2022, let's say, the Halloween of 2022, to really tie up? Again, it's a little bit of Marvel. Well, it's Marvel. Yeah. It's Marvel dropping the ball a little bit on the multiversal aspect of the multiverse saga, in that if you really want us to feel what it also could have been like in a multiverse, drop the zombie show immediately following like Shang-Chi or whatever. Yeah. And then you're like, or whatever, the Halloween 2022, then you're like, okay, that's another look at a universe where this plague happened or whatever, right? I guess that's probably true.
I think it's like, it would have made way more sense in the fall of 2022 and then put like
it also shows you
out the next year instead of then,
It also shows you the Ironheart thing, right? Because they had Ironheart. She's a part of it.
Yeah.
But they probably were making this pre her show, but they had their show filmed, right? That was the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so strange.
And I wonder like her, even Kate and like that trio, is that supposed to be some sort of follow-up to the Young Avengers tease from the end of the Marvels, which was 2023, or like there were other things about the show that I found, like, again, really interesting from a like production standpoint, because like the biggest thing that, or like the biggest flag, I guess, is Mahershala Ali's Blade being sort of included here, which was like that. I have to imagine they would only have done that if they thought that the Blade movie would be out before this was released. Because it's like, we know that Mahershala Ali's supposed to be Blade, but or maybe that's just like,
maybe they retroactively kind of made it Moon Knight-ish instead of just Blade.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not Mahershala Ali. Like, that's not his voice, right?
I don't think it was his voice. Nope.
It didn't sound like.
I was checking the credits. Never saw him.
But like, that's one of the things that I thought was like noteworthy. Just including a character that we all know has been like on the verge of being introduced for 5 years. Okay.
Production and release schedule aside for a second, on the what worked, again, not factoring in the timeline or when this should have released or all that, I loved the opening trio. It reminded me of a mashup that I feel like it would be really fun to see in the MCU. And in an alternate reality is totally possible. That's not the most far-fetched thing ever, that they would somehow run into each other. But I thought one having, was it actually Riri Williams as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Dominique.
I was going to say, I think having all three of I said Riri. Sorry, Dominique. I think having all three of their actual voices really helped for me and was just kind of a fun reminder of what I think could be a fun mashup.
Yeah. I thought one thing that stuck out on that front is like every time that there was a character that that didn't like where it wasn't the actor returning from live action. I noticed it in certain spots because they would give those. Sometimes it felt like they would give those characters a weird amount of speaking lines, where the was it Hudson Timms that does
Spider-Man, right?
Peter Parker Spider-Man has a huge voiceover at the start of that third episode or second episode. Third episode, I think.
But he also does. He's the other Spider-Man, right? From the other versions we've had that are animated.
I know
is not
from
his
What
first
If.
time. Okay, it's
I don't know
What
if he's
If,
the
but it's
version
not.
from Your Friendly Neighborhood or not.
Oh, good question.
Is it? Let me see.
It's the What If one.
It's the What If one for sure.
Well, and even that was interesting to include the Paul Rudd head, the Ant-Man head, because isn't that the What If head? So are you trying to tell me that it's
the same voice as your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Okay. See, then that didn't rub me as a bad thing then, because I'm used to hearing that voice for Spider-Man when it's animated.
Yeah. No, but I guess Zemo was another one that
that one wasn't me.
It was just there were moments like that where I thought, whenever they for instance, I loved when we got so much Wanda, because
it's so
just
good.
Clearly Elizabeth Olsen, and that was fun.
Can we for a second just say it's so good to see Elizabeth Olsen. For me, it did my heart so good.
Yeah,
to have her back narrating lines and just see that name across the screen. I'm like, let's go.
To have her there to get some Chris Hemsworth Thor was really fun.
Dude, I'm telling you, again, here's my bold take. She is going to be a massive part of the next two movies, and they haven't talked about it yet. And Kang's going to be in the movie. That's what's going to happen. Those two things are going to happen.
I love it.
You've heard it first. She's going to be a massive character, and Kang is going to be in the movie.
You think
Yes,
Jonathan Majors will be in the movie?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I do, right now. Bold take.
Is that based on things you've read, or is that just in your heart of hearts?
There's so many rumors online, so I have no idea if anything I've read ever is true. I've not read an article saying why it will be him. I just think it's going to happen. So I'm just going, just shooting my shot. Not even saying I want it. I'm just saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think this Elizabeth Olsen focus, yes, you're right. It's very 2022 for sure. And they're leaning into the evil Elizabeth. Right. But I just think they know. I think they know. I think they know what they have in that actor and that character, and they can't just walk away from it. There's no way.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I was so glad that we got some shots of her not in zombie mode.
Yeah, and she could switch back and forth.
Yeah, just because it's I'm pretty sure I remember her voicing voicing Wanda in that What If episode.
I think
but most of it was her being a zombie.
I think she did.
And that's the other thing, I probably should have, and maybe will now, gone back and watched the episode from What If. I didn't realize that it was spinning directly out of that. I remember there was some chatter about whether it was the same zombies universe, and they definitely wound up making it a straight up sequel to that episode. And
because of the Ant-Man thing, fun. Right? That was the key for me. Yeah,
the head and him and which the reason I say maybe that's one thing that we'll put out is that people should go back and watch that episode before watching Zombies, because I kind of wish I had done that, just because I don't remember how all of that played out. But man, yeah, I was just as I was going through the whole thing, it felt like it felt like what I think What If could be at its best. You and I have still talked about how I wish,
can't tell if you liked it. Did you like the show or you didn't like it?
No, I did like it. I was saying, yeah. I said I liked Eyes of Wakanda, and I liked this more than Eyes of Wakanda.
Okay.
I'm just saying I think that it was the way that they dealt with MCU characters meeting up and mixing and mashing, like it's the kind of thing that I feel like What If was always trying to do to varying levels of success. Like there were things like that in What If where I was just like, I don't care. Like I don't like it's so wacky to see like Wenwu and Hela together and like it's like I don't hate those episodes. I just didn't care. But here, I feel like the characters are recognizably the same, and you're just I like the fact that it's kind of like this is I think essentially the same time as like Endgame is taking place, because it's like 5 years after, I think 2018 is when the zombie apocalypse breaks out. So it's like instead of the snap happening and then 5 years later, it's like the zombie apocalypse 5 years later. So I think it's kind of a nice, like even the reimagining of Thor showing up in Wakanda with Groot and Rocket. All that stuff is really fun.
I agree. Really fun. And like I said, I got more and more invested as it went. So my heart and my gut told me, yeah, I think you like this show because you care. But it's interesting to see how they handle the power levels within those characters. Like they're even within a totally alternate zombie universe, there's definitely an interesting take / a respect toward like what you're saying, like the mashups that did happen, but also how they handle each character. Like meaning like when Thor does show up, it's still, even though this is like a very, very like dying old Thor who is jaded and depressed instead of, it's still like when he shows up, he's the one that can actually give, like the zombie Thor can give this Incredible Hulk thing a run for its money. And Wanda being the leader, she kind of is doing some of the same stuff that we've seen her do. Just now she's a zombie. But she's like the one zombie that's able to control her zombie nature and, like you said, go back to look like a normal person and actually have conversations with people about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the power levels are still intact within this zombie universe, instead of being like, what if, like, but like by the time Doctor Strange was like a snake head, like shooting things out, it just became so like, and like the Watcher battle where planets are smashing, like, and they're fighting against a Captain America spinoff with Peggy Carter. Right. You know what I'm saying? It just got so out of whack that I'm like, I don't feel any of this. Because I have no idea if all of a sudden Peggy Carter, her shield's able to block a galactic force and then all of a sudden absorb the energy and turn it into, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all just like ridiculous. Like it's almost like fan fiction. Here,
no, totally.
It feels like how they handled the characters, the character mashups, and their abilities still felt like a believable universe.
Like an actual extension of what we know the MCU to be.
Right. It's more of a question that, to your point, it's answering a question that I'm actually curious about.
Yeah.
Like if there were zombie versions of these characters, how would it play out? Versus what if Darcy slept with Howard the Duck? That's not a question I'm ever thinking about.
Right.
But you see what I'm saying? Like I am curious what zombie Thor would do. That's kind of interesting.
And I think like, even the ending, in terms of not the very end, which I'm excited to talk about.
But the ending's a huge win, right? The huge win.
Yeah. No, I mean, and like the banner stuff, like,
yes,
I actually thought that was really cool and handled like the whole, I mean, that the final battle between like T'Challa and Thanos was cool. And the way that results in the Infinity, like energy dissipating, like it's all just like,
and it makes sense that Banner would be the one that could handle it, I guess, or absorb it.
And even like the way that, to your point, the way that certain characters respond, I really liked and felt like Zeb was really paying attention to the way, like to the foundations that were there. Like I like that Melina was able to use like the same thing she used to control the pigs to control the zombies. That was such a great use of that character.
That's what I mean about there was a respect to the MCU, to the films, the Sacred Timeline films. Yeah, you don't put Melina in there controlling and then make a reference to the pigs unless you have a respect for the movie Black Widow.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, not disrespectful, but what if sometimes was like, disrespectful, I guess? Or like, I mean, what? You know, am I watching kind of thing?
I think what frustrated me about What If, it didn't, like, it was so hard. It happens sometimes, but it was really hard for me to recognize the characters that I was supposed to be like connecting with from the original live action stuff, where it's like, okay, even if it's the same actor, like sometimes especially like the like early seasons, the animation and the voice actors weren't always, or like the actors weren't always like locked in to the voice acting piece of it. And it just, like, I would hear, okay, yeah, like it's Sebastian Stan.
Right. It's technically
and I
his
know that
voice.
he's playing Bucky, but it doesn't really feel like it. And even some with like Thor, because like Party Thor stuff from season 1, it just didn't feel like Thor. But this sounded felt like Thor.
I felt it a tiny bit. Like, yes, if What If was I felt that, whatever, to the 5 out of 10 degree. I felt it to a 1 out of 10 degree here. Like a couple of times with Shang-Chi, I thought it was a little bit like, okay, I can tell Simu Liu is reading like into a microphone, reading lines. I felt like a couple times.
Yeah.
I guess under the what doesn't work category.
Well, and I thought about that too. I still think that this animation style is just something about it, not even just whether I prefer the way it looks, but something about it makes it difficult for the actors' emotions to line up with whatever the facial expression of those like drawn characters.
Okay.
Like there's like a disconnect for me where I'm like, I don't think, like, because even like Iman, I thought did a great job, but there are just times where I'm like, I can hear her and picture her saying it, and it is Miss Marvel. But this moment right here, what I'm seeing with my eyes, if I open my eyes, is like not that always. Like there was some like,
I get that.
Again,
I get that.
I'm not like hating on the animation style. It's just kind of there's something there that has never quite clicked the way it has with other animation projects.
Yep. Yeah, under the what doesn't work, I would agree. There are times where, yes, there is a disconnect. And you say, well, maybe maybe that's just all movies like that. No, like, I don't feel that with Toy Story. I don't feel that with Spider-Verse. Like,
I don't feel that with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, good point. That's a great, yeah, wow, that was such a good show. I can't wait to rewatch that one, by the way. I can't wait to rewatch that one. So yeah, it is possible to make it feel different than it does. I did think she, in particular, did a really good job. There were a couple times where I felt that a little bit. I thought Awkwafina was kind of fun, and that she was using some of the rings. I thought she did a good job. I was mixed on Shang-Chi. Not the character, sorry, I guess Simu Liu. The disconnect you're talking about. I felt the disconnect a little bit with like Alexi. Like Alexi is so funny to me in Thunderbolts. And then here it's a little bit like the lines are, like the lines should be as funny.
Yeah.
But something's not working as well. Zemo for sure was a huge down from the real,
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot like, I thought, again, conceptually, I really loved the idea of making the raft like a floating city. And I love the way that they incorporated like Namor. Like,
yes, so good there too. Oh my gosh.
Like that's what, again, it's so 2022. It's crazy, but like,
but that's still cool.
Oh no, it's great. Like, and because again, we've talked about this, like I think the biggest weakness of the post Endgame MCU has been like the lack of follow-up on certain things that are really cool that we just haven't gotten any more of yet. And we're going to. So it's not going to be a weakness that I think lasts. Like we're getting Namor and Doomsday. But it was really fun to see them circle back to all of these things that they've introduced that are all cool. And to see them, like Namor break into the raft is just a cool visual.
Yeah. You've already named like 3 of the, like that's so good. Even seeing a little Captain Marvel battle
with
randomly,
Icarus.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And by the way, that was another like, I liked the idea that Icarus would be there, couldn't turn into a zombie because he's like a synthetic being. Like, I think that was a fun inclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love the Black Widow one with the mind control. The raft was so cool. Yeah. You're pointing out all the good ones. Yeah.
I liked the fact that we saw the zombie break out start in San Francisco and everyone, like all the people and like animals getting blown up with like rogue PIM particles. And that's where we see Shang-Chi.
That was one of the best start. I said that was probably one of my favorite scenes. The start of them breaking out of San Francisco. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, the rogue PIM stuff.
Like, and yeah, even like that's the other thing that I loved about this is, and again, what if just didn't do this very often? Like, by having all of this kind of teed up in 2018, we have the benefit of an MCU that is more or less like as we would expect it to be. Like we haven't had all these weird things happen in the past that led there. So like you have all the iterations of the characters that are recognizable. You can use like Hank and Janet and also Hope. Like it's like everyone's kind of gotten their powers to the point where we feel like we've got all the toys in the toy box. And then you kind of go from there. Whereas like the thing with like a lot of What If episodes is by doing it like in the like in 1602 or doing it in like the like colonial era or doing it like way back with Wenwu and Hela, it's just like most of the ingredients of the MCU aren't there yet. So it just doesn't feel like that. But here, I loved seeing the way that all these different characters we know would actually respond to this event. And I think the most surprising thing for me is for a zombie What If spinoff, it wound up feeling like one of the more grounded things that they've done.
Even the Nova Corps quarantine was kind of a unique.
Yeah. Like, and I liked that because I was like, oh, is this gonna be some kind of like link up with the Guardians that like other than Rocket and Groot? But I kind of like, I think I liked this more because it was less predictable.
And it was just like practically difficult for them to get to space. Whereas like in those movies, you just hop on a ship and you go up there, but they had to like find a ship. New Asgard instead being inside a cave.
Which was kind of cool. Super
cool. It felt very Lord of the Rings, old school, like you know, the dwarves kind of thing to have that.
Yeah.
I really... like the Nova Corps thing is kind of interesting because technically in this universe then it went a slightly different route because we saw that T'Challa had the Power Stone instead of Thanos right away. In the Sacred Timeline, you know, we're told that he decimates Xandar a la the Nova Corps to get that stone. So something went different here, which is that's the kind of stuff, those are the kind of things I'm okay with, right?
That's true, yeah.
So they wouldn't be able to be quarantining it. But I think that that's an interesting tweak anyways, that they just basically are like ruling out Earth as a possibility at all. Look, my other two favorite things about the whole show, there were some fun twists. Like Blade being a Moon Knight and Valkyrie showing up. I thought Tessa Thompson did a good job. Valkyrie showing up and recognizing Khonshu when no one else would. That she would appreciate that part.
Such a better use of the Moon Knight stuff than we got in that one What If episode also.
Like, oh my gosh, so much better. Instead of him just being like a kaiju, whatever, driver or whatever it was.
Right.
When they go inside and then all Wanda's, you basically used her reality powers to make him think they're all just living a normal life. And then that twist was cool. And then the ending, pretty crazy to end it on that note, I thought.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
And that's fun. That's how these horror movies or whatever always have to end. You got to end on that kind of note anyways.
It's like the end of Shutter Island or something where you're like, what's the
So all of that was a huge what worked for me. I guess my one question, I don't fully understand what she even needed Miss Marvel for. Why was Kamala so chosen? And I guess I don't fully understand what her motivation even was. I guess she wanted the power from the infinity energy to be able to create her own worlds, maybe like WandaVision, but on a larger scale.
Yeah.
And why was Kamala needed? Because, she's getting the dreams and she's like, I need you. And at the very end, she does take her hand and help her.
I guess it has something to do, it's got to be something like with the bangle, because I think it's supposed to be like when she has the vision of the train in Miss Marvel, maybe, where it's like it's some kind of like it's leading her somewhere, and maybe that's the, because the bangle, we know it's a quantum band right now from the Marvels, so maybe that's it. Like, she is someone that is able to like focus that power, and Wanda needed that in conjunction with the infinity power.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an explosion that happens, and part of the explosion is Kamala's light energy power exploding.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some kind of casing of sorts, or I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good point. That wasn't explained super well. I did
like the premise though of Wanda basically getting so much power that she can create a world herself.
Yeah, and being the Queen of the Dead was kind of cool as like a follow up to her in Multiverse of Madness.
That redemption story is going to hit like crack. I'm telling you, it's coming.
I also just I loved the like that final battle. Even just seeing Spider-Man in the red and blue suit, like zipping around and like ripping all the zombie heads off, and having like Hank Pym punch himself, like all of it was just really, it felt really fun. Like I just feel like we haven't had, again, it was like, it's just MCU like toy boxing, but I loved it. It was fun.
Is it weird for me to say the creative ways they killed people was a huge win?
No, I mean, and also like they went for it in terms of like the visuals there.
Yeah.
It was not like kid friendly.
I'm thinking about like Bruce with the energy does like a huge shockwave that kills, 500 people. And then he does the Hulk clap thing, the thunder clap to get, but it's like an infinity energy version. Kamala, using her light energy to fight off Namor trying to eat her arm, but then when her arm is in his mouth, she grows it and explodes his head.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cool.
That was cool. I thought like Wenwu giving Shang-Chi the 10 rings to stop the infection was really cool.
That was good too, for sure. Yep.
Like I didn't know what was. There were a lot of little mini twists like that, like just in a scene where it's like, like I guess Shang-Chi's about to die because he just got bit, and then like, and again, kind of fun. Like that's essentially the moment that they have at the end of Shang-Chi, where he's like giving him the rings to protect himself and his sister, but it's like in that.
It's like, again, it's Zeb having respect for the movies. That's what it is.
Well, and in some ways doing things that the movies didn't give us as much time to do. Like, I actually thought it was like the Death Dealer character who I didn't really care about at all was kind of a cool character here. Yeah, like didn't care about it at all in Shang-Chi. Was like a cool character here in this show.
And again, you're right. That's the perfect example of what we're asking for. You almost get a follow-up in this on a character like the Death Dealer that the movie can't do. So this is a perfect, like, put it out 6 months afterwards when we're thinking about Shang-Chi, and now here's another Death Dealer show,
Yeah.
Overall, like I said, I really liked it. That's basically what I have. But I thought there were a lot of fun moments.
Like, I think the 4 episodes at once is the right call. I think, like, I'm curious how much of this is dictated by, like, how long they've had these things like on the shelf and what the release schedule originally was. But like, I do think it's like, it's not good to put the week to week pressure on shows like this.
Yes.
I think it's nice to just be able to sit and watch it as a thing. And it's like within that context. Yeah. Correct. This was like one of my, it was nice.
That's 100% what it is. Make this a week-to-week thing. You're going to have all this criticism of people being like, this show isn't carrying, the torch and not all the weight. But you put it as a all-at-one drop. It's a fun evening for sure.
Yeah.
And I was still thinking about it a couple days later. So that it's basically setting the bar low, and then it surpasses those expectations. And then you're like, oh, great.
But I do think the ending was like both the final battle that was legitimately epic, And that's hard to do. It's hard to do without making, like, there's a world where the Infinity Hulk would have just been so absurd that the stakes were gone, and it was like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. You still felt all the power levels be contained. Like even how they fought the zombies was exactly like how you wanted it to be.
It's like the exact, it is the exact opposite of the like Watcher battles.
Yes.
Like you were saying.
Because then when Thor shows up, you're like, oh no. Because everyone knows, if he's a zombie now, we're in trouble.
And that was like, that was the other thing that I think
it kind of ends with Wanda touching Bruce, which almost feels like Agatha a little bit in the sucking the power ability, you know?
I like, I really enjoyed I guess both pieces of this, where the way that it utilized the new Multiverse Saga characters, I thought was some of like the best characterization of those characters that we've gotten, to the point about Zeb. But also, to your point, I think the way that like Thor and Bruce operate here as kind of top tier guys, the way that she's like, oh man, like we have an Avenger now. It did feel like a focus on the original characters that people do love and want to see more of and don't see much of at all these days. And so it was like, I don't know. It did a lot of things right that I have been frustrated with What If for not doing. And that was one of my big takeaways. But just in general, it was like the battle scenes were fun, and the actual ending of like Wanda kind of remaking the world, but like, did she really remake the world? And does it matter if it's like it almost. It then asks again, like the Shutter Island question, like, is it better to just kind of pretend that this is...
Or The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, remember the scene in The Matrix where the guy is eating the steak anyways, and he's like, I know that this is my body, and the other one's doing this, but I don't care. I just don't care anymore.
Because he's like, everything tells me that this is a steak. So even though I know it's not a steak, I'm just going to eat the steak.
Yeah, right.
Except Boba.
Except Boba Tea version. So here's what I know too. There are people out there who are already more invested in the What If universe, and definitely more people out there into the zombie thing. So if I liked it, there will be some people that probably love this, I would think. This is totally up their alley. So I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see it. And if you're listening to this, you've just seen it. I want to know your thoughts. Discord, Patreon, the ffwpodcast.com, message us, whatever. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, is anybody else also finishing their watch through The Walking Dead? So firmly in Zombieland.
Zombie world.
Fun fact.
Put on World War Z afterwards?
The Marvel Zombies comic that this was all kind of based on was written by Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead. So
all your worlds are colliding.
Some crossover there, you know?
Yeah. You might have an incursion pretty soon if you're not careful. Okay,
thanks. I am curious to hear what folks thought.
Yeah, message us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you don't. And we'll see you next time back here on Friends from Work.